it is 6:28. Have you been getting a bit bored during lockdown? I'm going to assume the answer to that is pretty much yes. And if it is, I don't blame you. So how about climbing Everest or journey to the bottom of the sea? Well, Vanessa O'Brien has done both of those things. She's obviously an explorer. She's a mountaineer. She's an aquanaut. And she's visited the world's highest and lowest points. And her book, To the Greatest Heights, is out today and tells that story. She's joined us. Hello, Vanessa.
Hi, John. How are you?
I'm well. And how are you? I mean, you must be itching to do something extraordinary right now, because obviously you're not.
Yeah. Well, writing a book is a little bit of the opposite of going out there and doing stuff. So absolutely, I'm back with everybody else, roaring to go and ready to run out and enjoy the springtime. But
good. And so you should. But why did you do this? Because these are things that, when I say most of us, it's an understatement, just would not do or dream of doing. What drove you to do this, Vanessa?
Well, the activities or the book. I mean, there are two different things, but
Let's talk about the mountain and the sea first.
Yeah, the mountain and the sea. So I am the first woman to Earth's highest and lowest, and that's Everest and Challenger Deep. Challenger Deep is actually 2 miles deeper than Everest is tall in the Western Pacific Ocean. That was last year, and really, it's a sense of curiosity to go out there and see where these places are, what it's like to feel like to be there, because they're very, very hard to get to. They're not in the middle of a metropolis or a town or a city center. So getting to any of these places is a journey into itself.
Can you put into words for us, Vanessa, just an example of just how it felt, and as far as you can articulate that, when you got to the bottom of the ocean, can you express how you felt?
Well, it takes a little bit of time. It takes 4 hours, so it's not a quick jump down and you're there. It's a bit like a flight to Portugal. So you're sitting down there just waiting, and the flight analogy is probably a good one, because you're sitting in a seat, probably a coach seat about the same size, because that's.
I hadn't realised that. I hadn't realised it took quite that long to get to the. I knew it was a considerable distance, as it were, a considerable depth, but hours. I didn't realise it took hours. Is that vertically down? Is it a gradual distance?
No, you're going vertical. So these are where plate tectonics come under each other. So oceanic plates subduct under continental plates, but you're going vertically down, and it does take time. So 4 hours down is what it took us, and that's pretty average for somewhere like Challenger Deep, which is the deepest.
Yes.
And then if you want to do some work while you're down there, we spent 3 hours going across. That was to survey and map the bottom of the eastern pool, which is to see really if it's flat like a billiard table, or if there's sea mounts, or whether it if there's any sort of dips, or and if there's any protrusions or anything like that. So that takes 3 hours, let's say, and then it's 4 hours back up. So I think of it as
you make it sound like a day at the office, which it clearly isn't.
Well, it's 11 hours, so it's one long summit day.
I bet it is. And you're not obviously the first one to get to the summit of Mount Everest, but you're the first woman to reach both the highest point and the lowest point. Again, can you just tell us something of how it felt to get to the top of Mount Everest? I'm trying to imagine it in my inadequate way. What did it actually feel like?
Well, there's two versions of this. There's the film version, and then there's reality. The film version is the high fives and the Bluebird Day, and everybody's cheering, and the music comes in, and it's that wonderful crescendo of everything you've worked hard for, and it finally happens. Right. And then there's reality, and reality is a little different. It's that minus 30. It's wind chill. You've got high winds, you're freezing, you're thirsty, you're hungry, you've spent all your energy getting up there, probably 8 hours, and you know that you're only halfway. And if you want to celebrate something, can you imagine running a marathon and you're only halfway, and you want to stop and cheer? No. Halfway is only halfway. But that's what the top of a mountain is. So, you really have to...
I'll tell you what, Vanessa, I feel more impressed by that description of shivering cold, extreme hunger, and exhaustion than I would have done by an idea about high fives and a soundtrack from Queen. I mean, that was really, really striking. Congratulations on your achievement, and also on your book. Well done for
Thank you.
Producing that too.
Thank you so much.
Vanessa O'Brien, lovely to talk to you.
Cheers.
So